The war in Ukraine is awful, and some nights when I watch the news, tears come to my eyes. That war is driven by one man, Vladimir Putin. Vladimir Putin shows no respect for the innocent civilians of the Ukraine and has lied to the international community about his plans to invade, and by controlling the press and suppressing genuine news, has lied to the Russian people. In short, he shows neither of those two great values, respect and integrity. But why is he like this? What made him into the person that he is? Understanding these things might help us to stop him, or at least stop others like him in the future. Well, Vladimir Putin was born and raised in Leningrad, which is now called St. Petersburg. In the 1950s, his parents and the rest of their generation experienced the most brutal genocidal siege in the history of humankind. The Nazis surrounded the city, and for 2.5 years they bombed and starved the people of Leningrad so badly that more than 1 million citizens died. His brother was one of those who died. His father was severely wounded and was lucky to survive, but did so with permanent disabilities, plus a lifelong emotional block that made him unwilling to discuss his experiences and unable to talk to his son. Young Vladimir grew up in this post-war environment of grief and bitterness. He was poor, lonely and bullied, and survived as a street fighter, largely left to his own devices. His father, who could have helped him process this situation and made him a better man, instead was, in Vladimir's own words, largely uncommunicative. Russia might be a different place today if Vladimir's father had spent time with him doing the things that we now know make a huge difference to sons. Look at these images and you'll see what I mean. His dad could have fixed things with him, taken him out on dad dates, let him know how deeply he loved him, been there for him when he was bullied, and sat down with him to teach him those two beautiful deep values, respect and integrity. He could have taught him that despite all of this post-war bitterness around him in Leningrad, that he, Vladimir, could choose to break the cycle of bitterness and anger and become a good man. Other people have done it, you can do it. If I were to find myself chatting with Vladimir Putin, I'd ask him about his childhood and his dad in particular, and how the war affected him and his mother Maria. But then I would suggest to him that his current behaviour dishonours the memory of his parents, because he is causing in the Ukraine and elsewhere a repeat of exactly the same experiences that so affected his mum and dad and their generation in the siege of Leningrad. And ironically, the people of the Ukraine also suffered at the hands of the Nazis, and he's doing exactly the same things to them. I wonder how many young Vladimir Putins are right now being incubated by fathers who don't bother spending time with them, don't show love, and don't teach and model life's deepest values of respect and integrity. Such kids are more likely to grow up needing to express themselves through power and control, hiding their own lack of feelings and their own insecurities and their lack of worth in their workplaces or their communities or their families. Limited in their capacity to show respect and integrity. And honestly, such cycles repeat themselves. I mean, 50 years before Vladimir Putin wandered around the streets of Leningrad, two other young boys in Europe also suffered from poor fathering, Adolf Hitler and Joseph Stalin. But there's a simple solution, and dads can be powerful in breaking this cycle. There's two things I've learned about fathers today. Number one, they all love their kids. And number two, they're just not sure how to be good dads. But once they learn, it makes a spectacular difference to their children. Every dad can learn how to be a good dad, and when that happens, it could be the end of all the Vladimir Putins of this world.